How can we make a big bet to power and empower communities? Clean, reliable, affordable energy is the key to safer, smarter, and healthier communities and countries. It's also the key that unlocks jobs and opportunity. Still, more than 500 million people across Africa lack access to electricity. And for the hundreds of millions more, it's unaffordable or unreliable. But power, real power, is possible when communities, funders, entrepreneurs, and governments come together. That's the work of the Global Energy Alliance for People and Planet and Sustainable Energy for All. They embody the big bets mindset, championing renewable energy, bringing together partners, financing, and solutions to create lasting change. Building a future where energy access fuels jobs, education, and dignity. So what does it take to change energy and change lives? Let's see what a big bet for energy access looks like.
Okay, let's talk about accelerating energy across Africa. Please welcome Agnes Dasewicz. She's Chief Investment Officer at the Global Energy Alliance for People and Planet, and Anita Otubu, Senior Director, Universal Energy Facility, Sustainable Energy for All. Let's start with you, Anita. Let's talk about, you're a lawyer by practice. So what is the situation that you're dealing with, and why did you get involved with this?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. So I was born and raised in the UK, but in a Nigerian household. So essentially, I'm dual cultured, which shaped who I am, and eventually led me to moving to my country of origin. Now, living in Nigeria was different. Diesel generators, noisy, polluting, smoky, were seen as a privilege. Grid electricity, if ever came at all, came for a few hours in the day, sometimes once a week. And I'm talking about the major cities, even the capital of the country. But for rural communities where the majority of the people live, access to energy is almost non-existent. And that's just one country in the continent. 600 million people in Africa do not have access to electricity. And that represents more than 50%, probably even 70% of the total population globally who's still left in the dark. Now, the African population is set to triple by 2100. And youth unemployment, as of today, is on the rise. If there is no access to power, we are cutting off their potential. Now, the lack of access to energy goes beyond students not being able to study at night. We're talking about the fact that children or students are unable to access modern education in conducive learning environments, which puts them at par with their international counterparts or peers. It goes beyond health facilities not being able to refrigerate vaccines. Many lives are being lost prematurely. The smallest of businesses are struggling. Barbershops, welding, carpentry workshops, to name a few. Dare they even think about joining the digital economy? And that's why the Universal Energy Facility exists. Energy is more than electricity. It's a lifeline. It's dignity. It's the ability to dream with the lights on. Now, in Pepel, Sierra Leone, the children had never seen their classrooms lit. They'd never utilized appliances or technology to enhance their educational experience. But with the Universal Energy Facility, now they're not just imagining their futures, they're preparing for their future. In Madagascar, a barber by the name of Tiani, I believe, he was afraid to cut hair, and it's not because he wasn't passionate about the work that he does, but he was afraid of the power outages and the fact that he would lose clients. Now his shop is buzzing as a result of solar, and his income is now steady. In Onitsha, Nigeria, Vintus, a welder, he used to spend more money on diesel than he earned. But now his tools are being powered by solar. His family's eating better, and he's breathing easier. Now, these are not isolated cases. There are many of these cases. But we should see this as a signal as to what happens when energy arrives. It makes significant change. And that's what the Universal Energy Facility is about. It's not just about instilling hope, but changing it. Or it's not just about instilling hope, but ensuring that it becomes a reality in the lives of these Africans. Thank you.
Agnes, let's turn to you. Give us the sort of 30,000 foot view. What is the landscape? What are you dealing with? What are the big challenges?
Thank you very much, Manoush, and really thank you to Rockefeller Foundation for creating this amazing space to talk about these very, very important issues, but also challenging issues. So our big bet at the Global Energy Alliance for People and Planet is that changing energy changes lives. And I think this is a really incredible opportunity to bring back to what Anita was saying, to go back to the challenge that over 600 million people in Africa do not have access to reliable and affordable energy. And this is due to a myriad of issues, but in particular, the efforts to deliver that energy and the efforts to use that energy as an enabler very much are fragmented. So there are multiple programs by different philanthropies to address energy poverty. There are also multiple programs to address agriculture and agricultural productivity. There are also multiple programs to try to leverage more financing, but those are not very well connected. And this is why GEAPP was created. So our role is really to create alliances that not only fund projects, but actually unlock ecosystems. We're looking to create systems where these efforts are connected with partners that are like-minded and whose interests are very much aligned with ours. I think what's really incredible about the Universal Energy Facility is that it's one of the partnerships that's really delivering on the promise of changing energy and changing lives. So, for example, in Nigeria, we partnered not only with UEF, but also with the Rocky Mountain Institute, with the Nigerian Rural Electrification Agency, and with a company that was providing cooling services and a company that was providing solar electrification. And we really changed the lives of someone who I think was part of the video. Her name is Blessing, and she lives in Nigeria. And up until recently, she lost half of her income every single day because the fish she sold would go bad because there was no refrigeration available in her village. But now she has access to a multi-ton facility that is solar powered that we help facilitate in her state. And now her income has increased and her life has been completely changed. And this is incredibly important because the effort to not just deliver energy, but the effort to actually change people's lives by allowing energy to become an enabler of other activities is really key. So productive use of energy, whether it's cooling equipment or whether it's rice milling equipment in another part of Nigeria, and linking all those efforts, building an alliance and unlocking that ecosystem is absolutely key. And that is the bet to deliver not only economic growth, but also empowerment to the local communities and to people like Blessing.
So, Anita, from your perspective, why is that working? What is it about the partnership that unlocks? What can we learn from that?
Thank you. Perhaps I'll just also speak more to the model of the Universal Energy Facility. The Universal Energy Facility delivers real, measurable energy access to communities via the deployment of standalone solar for productive use and mini grids. Utilizing a results-based financing facility. Now, how does this work? We share risk with the private sector. We make payments based on actual delivered energy that has been verified. Accountability builds trust. This drives down the cost, and therefore this unlocks a lot more capital. As a result, we've been able to power lives through 13,000 connections, impacting over 60,000 people with reliable and sustainable power supply. We've also been able to transform livelihoods with 4,000 MSMEs, public institutions, health facilities, educational facilities with access to power, and 400 real, dignified, local, lasting jobs have also been created as a result of these interventions. And not to leave out the climate side of things, 5,000 tons of CO2 emissions have also been avoided as a result of these interventions. And that equates to about 1,000 cars being taken off the road on a yearly basis. Now, we wouldn't have been able to achieve this without key partnerships. And that's why I'm really happy that, Agnes is here, who represents Global Energy Alliance for People and Planet, who is a key partner of ours. They don't just fund the UEF, but as she'd mentioned, they support with the entire ecosystem, right? In ensuring that the UEF is implemented seamlessly, coordinating stakeholders, aligning efforts. And together with our founding partners, Rockefeller Foundation, IKEA Foundation, Shell Foundation, Good Energies, FCDO, USAID, GIZ, to name a few. I'm really trying not to miss out any of them because we appreciate each and every one of them. We're building something that is shared, structured, and scalable. It's beyond access. We're building or developing a blueprint that shows how we can align climate with development. And we are turning big bets into real and lasting change. Now, all we need to do is ensure that we get the right partners, the right model, the right partners, the right model, and, oh my goodness.
The right funding?
Yes, that's it. And the right capital. And, we'll power more than systems. We will be powering meaningful and sustainable futures. Thank you.
That was great. Okay, so looking at this model, what do you think people in this room need to take away from that? What can they learn from how this project has come together?
So I really think we're at a critical juncture because the world around us is changing. And while we may not have everything figured out, I'm going to actually quote Raj from a meeting that we had earlier, who said, and this really resonated with me, that we really, even though we're in a difficult place, things are really changing around us, we really cannot abdicate our responsibility to help those who are mostly underserved. So I'm going to go back to blessing, right? I think what's really important is that we think about how to really orchestrate our efforts to unlock ecosystems that are very much helping those who are potentially left behind. That's a really important goal. And I do want to talk about how we can do such things at scale. And I want to point to Mission 300, which is a partnership that we co-founded with the World Bank, with AFDB, the African Development Bank, with Rockefeller Foundation, and with SEforALL. And that has a goal of connecting 300 million people in Africa to reliable, accessible energy by 2030. This is an incredible goal that takes people like blessing into account. We need to connect people like this. And not only that, we need a new approach. So the way M300 is working is, for example, the aid infrastructure that we're all used to is that a lot of rich countries basically set up institutions that provided aid. The world has changed, and Mission 300 coordinated 27 African leaders to come together in Tanzania in January to actually tell everyone this is what the African countries need. And everyone being philanthropy, other governments, each other, as well as philanthropy, private sector, and the MDBs. This is an incredible alliance that can actually be very much guided by this is what the African countries need. How do we come together? How do we partner together across our different topics, across our different sectors to really deliver the support that the most underserved people like Blessing really need?
Great. We have to leave it there, unfortunately. Agnes, Dasewicz, and Anita Otubu, thank you both so much. Let's give them a round of applause.